Your metabolism didn't crash at 45. That's not why your belly is growing. A landmark study out of Duke and over 80 research institutions measured the metabolism of more than 6,400 people and found that metabolic rate stays remarkably stable from age 20 all the way to 60. So if it's not your metabolism, what is it? Here's what's actually happening inside your body after 45. You're not just gaining fat. You're gaining a specific type of fat, called visceral fat. It sits deep inside your abdomen, wrapped around your liver, your pancreas, your intestines. And unlike the fat you can pinch on your stomach, this fat is not passive. It's a rogue endocrine organ. It pumps inflammatory chemicals, TNF-alpha, interleukin-6, directly into your liver through the portal vein 24 hours a day. It's not stored energy. It's a disease factory. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 3 hidden drivers that force your body to pack on belly fat after 45, and I'll show you the evidence-backed protocol to shut each one down. The third driver is the one almost nobody talks about. Your belly fat is literally manufacturing its own fuel supply. We'll get there. And this matters way more than how your clothes fit. Here's what the data says. A meta-analysis of 31 prospective studies found that people with the highest waist-to-height ratio had a 57% greater risk of cardiovascular disease. Data from the Cardia study showed that every single additional year you live with abdominal obesity raises your risk of developing type 2 diabetes by 4%. And here's the part that should stop you cold. You can have a completely normal BMI and still carry dangerous levels of visceral fat. It's called normal weight obesity, and it can carry a higher mortality risk than being classified as obese by BMI alone. Your scale can say you're fine. Your waistline says otherwise. Driver number 1, your hormones are rewriting the rules of where fat goes. For women, this is the most dramatic shift. During your reproductive years, estrogen acts like a traffic controller. It directs fat storage to the hips and thighs. Subcutaneous fat, the relatively harmless kind. But as estrogen drops during menopause, that signaling disappears. And your body's fat distribution pattern flips from pear-shaped to apple-shaped. Longitudinal studies confirm that menopause specifically triggers a surge in visceral fat, independent of age or total body weight. This isn't just getting older, it's a hormonal event with measurable metabolic consequences. For men, it's a slower burn. Testosterone declines gradually, what some researchers call andropause. Lower testosterone means less muscle mass and more visceral fat accumulation. Studies show that testosterone therapy in abdominally obese men can specifically reduce visceral fat and improve insulin sensitivity. And there's a third hormone most people have never heard of: growth hormone. Its secretion drops steadily with age, the somatopause. By age 60, many adults produce growth hormone at levels comparable to younger people with diagnosed pituitary disorders. Less growth hormone means less lean mass and more visceral fat. And here's the cruel twist. The more visceral fat you accumulate, the more it suppresses your growth hormone, creating a feedback loop that gets harder and harder to break. Now, quick side note, because I know what some of you are thinking. Can I just do more crunches? No, spot reduction is, for all practical purposes, a myth. A study had participants do abdominal exercises for 6 weeks. No measurable change in belly fat. You cannot crunch your way out of a hormonal and metabolic problem. Abdominal fat is lost systemically through whole body strategies, which brings us to driver number 2. And this one creates a truly vicious cycle. Between age 20 and 70, the average person loses up to 40% of their skeletal muscle mass. That number should alarm you. Muscle is your body's primary engine for burning calories. It's metabolically expensive tissue. It burns energy just by existing. So as you lose it, your resting metabolic rate drops. And now you need fewer calories to maintain your weight. But your appetite hasn't changed. The math turns against you. But it gets worse. Researchers call it sarcopenic obesity, the simultaneous loss of muscle and gain of fat. And it's not just two problems side by side. They feed each other. The inflammatory chemicals pouring out of your visceral fat actively break down muscle tissue. And as muscle shrinks, your body loses its primary depot for processing blood sugar, which worsens insulin resistance, which tells your body to store even more fat. Muscle loss drives fat gain. Fat gain accelerates muscle loss. This is the death spiral. And your muscle is responsible for disposing of roughly 80% of the glucose from every meal you eat. When that capacity shrinks, the metabolic dominoes start falling fast. Now here's where things get personal. Because Driver 3 isn't about aging, it's about the life you're living while you age. Midlife hits different. Career stress, financial pressure, caring for kids and aging parents at the same time. And that chronic stress has a direct, measurable effect on where your body stores fat. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol. In short bursts, that's fine. It's a survival mechanism. But chronic stress means chronic cortisol. And cortisol does two things. It increases appetite, especially for high-calorie comfort foods, and it tells your body to store fat. Here's the part that should make your jaw drop. Visceral fat cells carry a higher density of cortisol receptors than any other fat cells in your body. They are biologically wired to respond to stress. But it gets even worse. Your visceral fat contains an enzyme called 11-beta-HSD1 that locally manufactures cortisol from its inactive form. Your belly fat is literally running its own cortisol factory, producing the exact hormone that tells the body to store more belly fat. Stress fills the factory. The factory makes more stress hormone. The hormone builds a bigger factory. That's not a metaphor. That's the biology. And here's a data point that connects all of this. A randomized controlled trial found that restricting sleep for just 14 days, not months, 14 days, led to a significant increase in visceral abdominal fat, even when calorie intake was controlled. You can eat perfectly and still grow belly fat if you're not sleeping. So here's the good news. Every single one of these drivers can be counted, and the protocol is not complicated, but it is specific. 3 pillars. Pillar 1, rebuild the engine. That means resistance training. It is the single most effective intervention against sarcopenia. It builds and preserves muscle, directly boosting your resting metabolic rate. And meta-analyses confirm it significantly reduces both body fat percentage and visceral fat. You are not just burning calories, you are rebuilding the tissue that burns calories for you. Pair it with aerobic exercise, at least 150 minutes per week of moderate to vigorous activity. And randomized trials show the combination is superior to either one alone for reducing visceral fat and improving function. Pillar 2, feed the muscle, starve the inflammation. A Mediterranean-style dietary pattern, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, olive oil, fish, is consistently associated with lower waist circumference and reduced central obesity in postmenopausal women. Critically, these improvements in body composition, specifically visceral fat reduction, can happen even when total scale weight stays the same. And protein is non-negotiable. Systematic reviews show that exceeding 1.3 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day preserves muscle mass during weight loss. Below 1.0 grams, you're accelerating muscle decline. Combine adequate protein with resistance training and you get what researchers call high-quality weight loss. Maximum fat lost, maximum muscle kept. Pillar 3, break the stress-fat loop. Sleep 7 to 8 hours. That's not lifestyle advice. It's metabolic strategy. Sleep deprivation disrupts leptin and ghrelin, the hormones that control hunger, increasing cravings for calorie-dense foods. And as we saw, even 2 weeks of poor sleep directly grows visceral fat. Manage stress deliberately. Mindfulness-based interventions have been shown to improve stress-related eating behaviors. You may not be able to eliminate stress from your life, but you can interrupt the cortisol cascade before it builds a bigger factory. So let's close the loop. Your belly fat after 45 isn't a willpower failure. It's the result of 3 biological forces: hormonal shifts that redirect where fat is stored, muscle loss that dismantles your metabolic engine, and a stress cortisol cycle that your belly fat itself perpetuates. Counter all three. Lift weights to rebuild muscle. Eat to reduce inflammation and protect lean mass. Sleep and manage stress to shut down the cortisol factory. This isn't about looking a certain way. It's about interrupting a cycle that, left unchecked, drives cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and early mortality. If this changed how you think about belly fat, hit subscribe. We break down the science behind your body every week so you can actually use it. Drop your age in the comments. I want to know who's watching and what you're dealing with. I read every single one. And if someone you care about is over 45 and fighting this battle, send them this video. The science is on their side. They just need to see it.